Hello and welcome to Rewatch Party, where we all just sent in our audition tapes for the Real World Seattle.
I want to meet Frasier.
That's why we chose Seattle specifically. I'm Zach Horowitz.
I bullied them. I'm Mark Green.
And I'm Harrison Bloom. And I'm also
He was a silent accomplice in all of it.
I'm very excited for the Real World Seattle, because I will also meet Frasier and question him for the things he knows.
I said if you don't let me go to Seattle where I can meet my good friends Frasier Crane and Carly Shay, I will actually freak out.
Yeah, see, I understand that, but what I don't understand is why we specifically had to audition for the Real World. We couldn't have just gone to Seattle.
Oh, you want to go through all the trouble of booking a flight to Seattle and getting housing rather than just being like, oh, what, you want to film me for a while and I get to stay in this house and meet Frasier Crane, the radio psychiatrist?
Zach, do you think I have money to go to Seattle by myself? No, I am going to be paid to be in Seattle and meet Frasier. It's going to be great.
You know what? That's fair in this economy.
Yeah. I don't have time for that.
Anyways, we're talking about the Real World, but we didn't watch an episode of the Real World today.
Did we watch an episode of Frasier?
90s show today. Not Frasier either.
Frasier was a 90s show. Frasier was a 90s show.
Not that 90s show. That's the other 90s show.
If we get a scene where the gang is watching Frasier, I think we might actually explode. It's going to be so great.
Mark will literally explode at the mention of Frasier.
I'll die. I'll be full dead.
I'll have
full dead.
It'll be sad. You guys will cry. You'll have to go to my grave.
And then you'll never get to meet Frasier. That's the saddest part.
I'll have a slight combustion in a non-lethal area, like my spleen. But then the real trouble will be going to Mark's grave. Yeah.
And I'll be totally fine, except for the emotional scars that come from losing a friend.
Zach's fine, Harrison gets a tummy ache, and I'm dead.
Yes.
But yeah, we watched that 90s show today. The natural
progression.
Yep. We watched that 90s show today, and guys, the kids are in the basement, and they got drugs.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Which is funny because Leia decided to wear her Dare shirt, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I have two things about this. One is I just want to point out they have very old drugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my first thought when they brought the bag out. That shit is so
drugs.
inspired. There's no way.
Yeah. And two, I've seen people with ironic Dare shirts in the modern day. I've seen that be a thing. Leia has a Dare shirt that she's just wearing because presumably she really loves the Dare program.
Maybe it's one of those things where they she went to a Dare event because school made her, and so she just has a Dare shirt, and what's she gonna do, not wear the free shirt? I don't know.
It's free clothing.
Yeah, it has a lot of sentimental value because it was free, and also she caught a leprechaun when she was wearing it, and that was the best day of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I'm never taking this shirt off ever again because I caught the leprechaun. It
smells terrible.
She later found out that the leprechaun was actually just her sniffing glue, which made her regret wearing the Dare shirt. She hallucinated that leprechaun. Yeah,
I feel like that's given some mixed messages, Leia. I feel like there are some mixed messages there. But yeah, Leia has a Dare shirt. They have some very old pot. And my next note does not relate to anything else, but it was a little running joke that I really liked in this episode. Nikki mentions that her cousin did Brett Favre's bathroom. This is apropos of nothing. She says, I can't get caught doing drugs. I'm from a famous family. My cousin did Brett Favre's bathroom.
What a celebrity to bring up. Brett Favre.
Celebrity status.
Yeah.
Well, he was in Green Bay.
He was famous. Yeah, I know. He was famous. I'm just saying, it's wow.
Yeah, and they're in Wisconsin. So, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The Packers.
They're in Wisconsin.
So he's a local. Yeah.
I forgot.
There's a whole episode of that 70s show where Eric takes Red to a Packers game.
Yeah, no, the Wisconsin connection slipped my mind, but that's funny.
I thank you for knowing about sports and literally saying that because I didn't know I didn't get the connection either until you said that, Zach.
Yeah, I do like the idea though that it's just a completely unrelated athlete, like someone who does not play even remotely close to Wisconsin.
It's so strange because I've always known about the Green Bay Packers, but I never consciously recognized that Green Bay is in Wisconsin. I would always just like edit that part out of my brain. Yeah.
To be fair, I think if the Green Bay Packers did not exist, a lot less people would know that Green Bay is in Wisconsin.
Yeah, of course.
It's like their one thing.
True.
Yeah.
See, I remember because I remember that they liked the Packers in that 70s show, and that 70s show took place in Wisconsin.
Right.
Also,
that's the difference
other
between me and
cultural
Mark.
references. But yeah, Leia's like, guys, I don't think we should do this. I think we should just say, and it cuts to her in the circle, fully high, going, whoa. Guys, isn't it cute?
It's
They're
a
doing
round
the
table.
circle. The kids did drugs.
Yay!
They did the drugs. Yay! They did it.
Yay, these who I think
Hooray
they're
for recreational
14 in
drug
this
use.
version. These 14-year-olds did recreational drugs.
Yay!
Yay.
And this is during the tough on crime era. You know, you can't get caught with that.
Yeah, but they're doing a classic that 70s / that 90s show circle. Gwen likes Red's flannels.
Mm-hmm.
I just a little thing. They all really latch on to Red's flannels, and I understand that flannel was big in the 90s, but just I feel like if I was hanging out with a new friend who I'd just met,
Yeah.
this takes place right when the first episode ends. This is their first time hanging out in the basement in her house, and I discovered in the laundry her grandfather's clothing. I don't know if I'd be like, jackpot, score.
What if he had some like really cool clothes?
Like flannels? I think I'd be like
flannels.
those belong to an old man. Kurtwood Smith has worn these. Not for me. I can get my flannels elsewhere.
What I was going to say is the other way to interpret this is, as Gwen states later, this is a very boring town.
That's true.
Maybe,
That's true.
maybe seeing an old man's flannel is legitimately exciting to them.
Maybe they're starved. Maybe there are no flannels anywhere else in Point Place, Wisconsin.
Oh, God.
Maybe Red bought all the flannels.
Oh, that's possible.
He's hoarding them, and he won't let anyone else have them.
Well, everybody knows about the great flannel shortage of 1996. That was caused by Red Foreman. Yeah.
It was caused by Red specifically. Yes, he took all the flannels for himself.
Blowing all of his retirement money on flannels that he doesn't need.
Kitty left him. She took the kids.
Oh no.
All he has left is his flannel.
All he has.
You
is
can't let the flannels go, Red. It's me or them. It's me or the flannels.
I love that Kitty leaves and takes Eric, who is already a grown man.
She can't let him fall under the influence of Red's flannels. She's worried about him and his family. What if he starts doing it? What if he gets really into denim? Think about it. None of the teens will have anything to wear
It's a
if
vicious cycle.
Eric and Red are hoarding all the denim and flannel. But yeah, they're all high. Jay is obsessed with a rubber band.
He like lets go and it flies off in the distance, and he's very he's very intrigued by that.
Yep. Nate and Nikki are talking about how Donkey Kong isn't a donkey, and later how Sheryl Crow isn't a crow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If she wasn't a crow, why would she be named Crow? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's so very strange. Like how every Leo should be a lion, but no. Yeah.
To be fair, that one Leo is a DiCaprio.
Whatever a DiCaprio is.
I think it's someone with the name DiCaprio. I don't think it's that complicated.
That's fair.
I don't know why you're. I just. I understand.
No, you bring up a good point.
No.
No.
So
it
everyone
makes sense.
really wants Raisin Bran.
Yeah.
They decide.
Yeah, they're hungry as one gets, and they all start chanting Raisin Bran.
Yes.
Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran.
Raisin
Raisin Bran.
Raisin
Raisin Bran.
Raisin
Raisin Bran. Raisin. See, here's what's funny to me about that moment in our relationship. Zach, I started shouting Raisin Bran, and Zach joined in, and Harrison just looked at the two of us. May I read into your expression a little bit? Disappointment?
Just kind of looking back on the last like 10 or so years of his life, like these are the people that I've chosen to be my friends.
I guess I was more thinking about when was the time I was that excited for Raisin Bran, and I think it was never.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah. I don't expect everyone to have my issues with Raisin Bran, but I do find it. I do find it funny. That's their high. That's their munchie that they're craving.
Well, you get high, you gotta munch on some Raisin Bran, Harrison. Everyone knows this.
But yeah, Leia.
Nom 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 on that Raisin Bran.
Mm-hmm.
Leia goes to get Raisin Bran. Nom nom nom. Yum yum yum. Yum yum yum. In my tum tum tum.
Yum yum
yum yum yum in my tum tum tum. That's what I say every time I eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say every time I eat Raisin Bran.
No, every time I eat. Have you not noticed over the years? Like whenever I have pizza, I'm like yum 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 pizza tum tum tum.
You know, I did notice that. I just thought it was like I thought you were like doing a bit.
Thought it was a phase, you know.
No, it's compulsive.
Yeah, I thought it would just like compulsive. You know, it was compulsive. I thought you'd just kind of stop doing it eventually.
But yeah, Leia goes to get Raisin Bran. We go to our theme song. There is a theme song. Yeah. I got very angry in the first episode when there wasn't a theme song.
Yeah, me too. I was like, why would you save that for now? That's
They did like I feel like
yeah.
They did like the opposite of what most shows do, where it's like now they do the theme song, but not exactly in the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
weird.
Pretty much the same thing as that 70s show, same like basic song, but it's now faster and more punk rock 90s.
Yeah, it's faster and punk rock 90s. The footage is not them in a car. It's like, you know, home movie like camcorder footage of all the characters, which is kind of fun and kind of nice. And it has a nice energy with the song.
I really like this intro, but I think they were... Since TV intros are just getting shorter nowadays, I think they sped up the song a little too much. Like,
that's my thing.
That's why they sped it out.
No, definitely. I think that's maybe part of it. I think part of it is the like, how do we make it 90s, make it sort of like grunge punk sort of thing. And so they like sped it up. But I'm like, if you like added a verse or like just lengthened it a little bit, I think it would be fine. But it's just like a little too quick where it's like it's over before you really realize it.
Yeah. But I think that's more so a problem with TV intros getting shorter and shorter than the show itself.
Oh yeah,
which is bad. We should bring back full on theme songs. I know there are some great theme songs nowadays, but like a lot of theme songs are very instrumental, even the best ones.
Yeah.
And I need someone singing about, you know, how they're going to be there for me, or how sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, or thanking me for being a friend. Or when you hear the blues
of Colin.
Or how we're hanging out down the street.
Yeah, we're hanging out down the street.
Eggs.
Yeah, hanging out down the street, toss salads and scrambled eggs.
Yes, those were one show. We all watched it.
Yeah,
one show. That 70s Frasier.
That 70s Frasier. The fusion dance between the two. Gosh.
It's so here's
Kelsey Grammer do like a fusion.
Yeah, I was gonna say here's a question. Is it a show about Frasier in the 70s? Is it a show about like, and is it a show that's basically that 70s show, but like Frasier is a teenager and it's him and his teenage friends? Or is it that 70s show with the supporting character, Dr. Frasier Crane?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's my favorite one.
It's just it's just that regular that 70s show, but Frasier is there.
Tyler points.
Frasier just hangs out with a bunch of teenagers.
Tyler just sent, you act like teenage Frasier had friends. That's why I put them into two separate categories. One of them is a show about teenage Frasier. One is a That 70s Show-esque show about Frasier, but he has friends. And one is That 70s Show, but with Frasier. Yep.
And Frasier is just there.
Yep. And they're all just like, we gotta man, we found a keg, and Frasier's like, or I have this nice bottle of sherry, and that's the entire show.
Oh god.
Yeah.
At least he still brought booze to the party.
Yeah. The intro is over. Kitty is hanging out with. Tyler just sent he hears the booze a callin'. I will not announce everything Tyler sends, but when he sends something like when you hear the booze a callin', you can't overlook that. Thank you, Tyler.
You can't just let that slide.
We love you. We appreciate everything you do for us. I do hear the booze a callin'. Toss salads and scrambled eggs.
What is a boy to do?
So Leia's upstairs. She walks past the Malamars. I know she was looking for Raisin Bran, but come on, you're already high and you see the Malamars? Come on,
I noticed
Leia.
that they had Malamars as well.
Come on.
Yeah.
We should also mention Red comes in with a tiny tomato from his garden.
He's very proud of his tiny tomato.
I don't know which is better.
Sorry, I don't want you to make fun of me for the way I
is-
said that. A tiny tomato.
I don't know which is better, the fact that Red has gotten into gardening of all activities, or the fact that he's really bad at it.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it is very weird to me that Red Foreman, of all people, has gotten into gardening.
I really do love it because he's such a warm, nurturing person. I think it is the 1-2 punch of like, it would not be nearly as funny if he was good at it.
But the fact that he's
unless there was an episode where like Kitty was trying to garden and it turns out Red is an amazing gardener.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
But he's just like, he's definitely too angry to like nurture plants, to nurture anything but plants.
Do you think the tomato plant got angry and only made small tomatoes because he called it a dumbass?
I definitely 100%. He said, if you don't grow larger, I'm going to put my foot in your ass. And the tomato's like, I'm a tomato. I don't know what that is. I'm scared.
I was like, and then the tomato tree grew a mouth and was like, Red, I am a plant and do not physically have an ass for you to put your foot in. This threat is empty.
And then he realized he had nothing left, and then he missed his son.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, that's when he. Yeah, those are the moments where Red really misses Eric. He's like, I have no one left here. I just need to call someone a dumbass, but no one's being a dumbass right now.
Oh god.
Yeah, Leia goes to get Raisin Bran, and Kitty says, "Oh, honey, I think we're out of Raisin Bran," and Leia starts panicking, which I really like.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good.
And then she sees,
Okay, go ahead.
she sees Red and Kitty as video game monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's some line leading into that about like, well, I guess there's all the like Donkey Kong stuff.
the Donkey Kong thing,
some line about
Yeah,
like
that's what I
monkeying
thought it
around.
was.
I thought there was like something they mentioned monkey. I thought they mentioned monkeys one more time, but it is a
maybe.
callback to the Donkey Kong stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No,
it
no,
was.
I know that's what it is. I'm not saying like I know. That's what I thought it was as well. I was just trying to remember if there was one other thing. But yeah, she sees them as video game monkeys, which I like as a reference. It feels very that 70s show in that they did a lot of things of like Eric is high and Red and Kitty are talking to him and like the background is moving, but they're stationary.
Mm-hmm.
And also I like it because one thing that I was thinking about is that in the pilot we don't get one of the classic That 70s Show hallmarks, which is fantasy sequences.
That's right. Yeah, we haven't gotten any of that.
Yeah. That 70s Show did a lot of like cutaways and fantasy sequences and like, you know, gags with one thing. I didn't think this was quite as strong as what a lot of That 70s Show gags were, but I did like that they did this.
Yeah. Some people might complain that marijuana isn't that big a hallucinogen. You wouldn't see your parents as monkeys, except I have had hallucinations like this on pot, so I stand by it.
Yeah, Harrison texted me one day and was like, Zach, I'm freaking out, man. Are you a bee? And I was like, Harrison, why do you think I'm a bee? I'm very obviously a
bunch
human.
of bees.
And you were like, oh my god, Zach's a bee. Please don't sting me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to sting ya. And then And then we all kind of gathered around Harrison and we all went, nightmare, 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 until he just kept
When
freaking
you
out.
started telling this story, for a second I was going to be concerned that it was real. I was concerned that it was going to be real. I was like, what did I say to Zach? Well, hi.
Wow, way to blow my cover, Harrison. Are you saying my story wasn't real?
I really, really thought you were going to say Harrison called me and said, hey, Zach, I think you're a bee. And I said, no, Harrison, of course I'm not a bee. I'm a bunch of bees in a trench coat.
Oh, that makes
Swarming
sense.
around.
Just buzzing around. Buzz, buzz, buzz. I'm a bunch of bees.
My drugged out brain knew it.
Oh my God,
Give me the
Zach,
truth.
maybe you are a bunch of bees. That you sounded just like bees right then.
Buzz, buzz. I'm a bunch of bees.
Zach, you're really freaking me out.
Buzz, 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 buzz,
I'm gonna
buzz,
sting you.
Please don't sting me.
Ooh, watch out, I'm gonna sting you. Nightmare, 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 nightmare.
Now that I'm calmed down, I think we can talk about the next scene where the kids sneak into Red and Kitty's room.
Mhm.
Again, these kids, they all really love Red's flannels.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying that the flannels aren't good. Obviously, we all love flannels.
Yeah.
You know me. I've never been one to turn down a flannel. I see a flannel and I'm like, I'm there. I'm just saying, if you were like, these are flannels regularly and exclusively worn by an angry old man, it might give me pause.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leia finds them just going through Red and Kitty's stuff.
Mhm.
And Leia definitely wants to be cool. And she's like, yeah, we can do, just do whatever. Hang out this summer. I'm too afraid to go into this room, but we can do whatever we want. And then Red shows up and says, no, you can't. Which I liked.
Yeah.
Just spontaneously appears.
Leia wants to be a rebel.
Yeah. And he's a human now. He's back. He's no longer a cartoon video game monkey.
Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
He transformed back into a
It
human.
would have been funny if he just walked in and he was still a monkey, but I don't think they had the budget for that.
See, it was very funny, that entire conversation where it's just like it cuts back between Red and Kitty or the monkeys, and like in a video game you see all the
Yeah.
stuff on the screen or
Yeah.
whatever, and then it cuts back to Leia who's just staring there
Yeah.
in awe.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I didn't think the monkey stuff was so funny, but Leia's reactions were very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kitty
That's why I was like,
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
make a point to
Yes,
bring this
yes.
up because it always cuts back to Leia and
Yeah.
she's just staring at the camera
Yeah.
in amusement.
Yeah. Kitty gives her a cookie at one point, and it's just so funny with her like having this wide-eye confused expression, but holding a giant cookie. Yes, I'm glad you bring that up. Her reactions are very good. But yeah, Red kicks all the kids out. Kitty gives them cupcakes. Just a real encapsulation of their dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Red saying get out one by one, and Kitty handing each one a cupcake.
Mhm.
And again, this is getting to one of my favorite arcs that we've seen play out in these two episodes, which is Red losing control of his life.
Poor man.
Yeah, because they all leave, and Red turns to Leia and says, like, look, I went through this once before, so I'm going to lay down some ground rules.
Yes.
And I think, yeah, the line is like, no eating my food, no drinking my drinks, and if they go in my room, my foot goes in their ass.
Honestly, fair rules.
Reasonable.
I'm gonna
Pretty
be
fair,
real. I think
reasonable.
Red has a point
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
He's not asking much.
there was, yeah. I know the original That 70s show. It spans from like 1970, the end of 1976 to the New Year's of
1980.
79. Yeah, 1980 is when the show ends.
Yeah.
So like 4 years, 3 and change years, but in actual years there were 8 years of Red dealing with these motherfucking idiots. And now I just love the idea that he's like, look, I already did this.
I'm not going through it again.
This
And you're
works.
making me do it again. There are so many. I mean, this podcast is predicated on these reboots of sitcoms where the characters come back and do basically the same thing.
Mhm.
I love that this show is doing that, but of course it has the one character who's like, no, absolutely not. I hate this. I hate that we're doing this.
I mean, you gotta imagine it from his perspective. Imagine like you have a relatively normal life, but 3 or 4 of those years were a sitcom. Like the worst experience
Red
ever.
is tired of living in a sitcom.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
this is the only
he wants to move on with his life. He wants to tend to his garden and his below average sized tomatoes.
Every show we've watched Fuller House, we've watched iCarly, and every show is like, wouldn't it be fun to be in the house again? Wouldn't it be fun to do iCarly again? And this show is Red going, it would absolutely not be fun to do that 70s show again. And I love it. I love it for him.
It's also very funny that he's like that, especially because considering like the cast of that 90s show, the only real like main characters that have been carried over are Red and Kitty.
Yes, it's perfect. I love it. But Kitty likes having people around, and Kitty's saying, but Kitty seconds his thing about going in their room and says that, you know, people keep sensitive things in their room.
Right.
My dad, when I was a little girl, my dad kept a whip in case there was a burglar right by his bed. And my parents also had these fuzzy handcuffs and oh no.
Kitty's just unlocking some traumatic memories right there.
Yeah, that was an absolutely insane scene. And then Tyler reminded us all when we were watching that Kitty's mom was Betty White. Was played by Betty White.
Kitty's mom was played by Betty White.
Which makes it that much funnier to think about.
Yes.
Betty White is a national treasure.
Yes.
Yeah. Bless her.
Truly. But Leia talks about how she's been having so much fun with her new friends and she wants them to think she's cool, how they smoked a ham and how they tapped a ham. I liked that a lot.
A lot of ham.
And I love the idea that this lame teenager does 2 really cool things and now thinks that she has to maintain that same level of energy the entire summer.
Yeah. Leia's really worried, but Kitty's...
She's a child of the streets now. She's gone bad.
I guess there is a funny thing. I think I mentioned in the first episode, like, I think it's funny that Leia is from Chicago. Like, she's a city kid and she's so much less cool than all these like suburban Wisconsin teens.
Right.
But I do think there's something that this episode points out, which is basically like these teens have nothing to do, so they have to get up to some mischief.
I have heard from like people who like live in like rural Midwestern towns that like the need to drink beer and smoke weed all the time really does come from the boredom of not having anything to do.
Yeah. Like, it's actually, like, I thought it was funny in the first episode of like, why isn't she cooler? But now I'm like, no, it totally makes sense that Leia, like, just hasn't had to do these things to have fun before. But Kitty suggests that she invite all her new friends back to the foreman's place to have a movie night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And that's how the scene ends. They're going to do a movie night.
Mm-hmm.
And Kitty's going to make ham because apparently the kids love ham.
These kids love ham.
Yeah.
They love their ham.
They love ham and they don't love drugs and alcohol.
Oh, God.
No.
Not me.
Did you
never.
see Leia? She was wearing her Dare shirt at the beginning of the episode. She took that program seriously.
Yep. But we go over to the next scene. Red and Kitty are hanging out and some new lady shows up. Asking which one of them yelled at her kids. Of course, the answer being Red.
Mm-hmm.
This is Gwen and Nate's mom, Sherry, who is the new Bob.
Yeah.
New Bob.
With the same voice.
Yep, she's doing the accent.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Bob's so good. Sherry's pretty fun, but watching Sherry when she first appears, it just made me think about how good Bob is.
Yeah.
I miss Bob. I know he comes back later.
Bob.
I believe he does show up. But
yes.
Yep. But like, Sherry's good. She has a line about like, I was pregnant with Nate for 10 months. The doctor said that was okay, but I don't think it was.
Oh God, no.
Which, probably wasn't based on the fact that Nate's a real dummy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We should also, I do want to just take a moment to say we have been referring to the characters by their names. It's totally understandable if you, dear listener, do not know who we are talking about. Most of us did not remember at the beginning.
Yeah, like I started watching the episode and I was like, I fully do not remember half these kids' names.
I remember. Okay, Gwen, Nate, Ozzy, Jay. I'm forgetting Nate's girlfriend.
Leia.
Well, obviously there's Leia.
Nikki is
the last one. Okay.
Nikki is Nate's girlfriend. Nate is New Kelso. Gwen and Nate are brother and sister. Gwen is Leia's cool friend. Jay is Kelso's son, who is very handsome. Mm-hmm. And Ozzy is new Fez. Yeah, I guess. Yep. Mm-hmm. If you
Fez,
needed a
but not as good, really. There was a good thing.
I like Ozzy.
Yeah. There was a good thing at the beginning of the episode, though, where, like, when everybody gets high, Ozzy's like, yeah, I'm not doing this, and goes up and just hangs out with Kitty for a bit.
I like that.
I'm like, okay, I like this.
That's good, yeah.
I want Ozzy and Kitty to become best friends.
I also really like when Nikki says the thing about her cousin did Brett Favre's bathroom. Ozzy's like, ugh, not this again.
Yes, the Brett Favre story. He's heard it so many times. He's so over it.
Yes. Ozzy is the new Fez in that, like, that is sort of the role in the group. He's the sort of like extra friend, the color character. And I mean that, I know Fez is literally the non-white character. I mean color character in terms of like goofy kind of character, though. Yeah. Ozzy is very catty and judgmental.
Yeah, whereas Fez is just kind of an idiot who doesn't really know what's going on.
He's also very catty and judgmental, though.
Yeah.
Fez has that side to him.
True.
Yeah,
that is true.
Kelso.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there are a lot of parallels, but we should just say, if you're hearing this and being like, new Fez, I love Fez, Ozzy ain't Fez. Ozzy is his own thing.
He's not Fez.
Yeah.
No.
He's not Fez.
He's his own man. He's not.
Yes.
He's not. He does not fit Fez's rules.
But yeah, Sherry is Gwen and Nate's mom, and she's dating a guy who's got it all. He's got looks. He's got a blue Miata. And she's got a date with him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she doesn't say that this scene, but she does.
She's got a hot date.
A hot date with blue Miata.
But also is concerned about... Oh, right. She's concerned that he's clingy because he wants to move in with her after 2 weeks. Yeah, I was remembering. What was the problem she had with him again?
Right. He's clingy.
Yeah, and then Sherry uses, like, all the Foreman stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
She, like, uses their microwave, their shower, all that stuff.
Yeah. It comes later. But yeah, immediately she asks, can I use your microwave? It's going to take, like, 3 hours in mine. And I don't... I guess she has a busted microwave. But yeah, Kitty... fully opens her house to Sherry, and Red is not happy.
It's penance.
He's like, oh, Jesus Christ, another one?
Yep. I thought I was only going to have to deal with the kids. You're telling me there's a new Bob, too?
Oh, no.
My idiot neighbor best friend.
It's penance for stealing Bob's snowblower. That's a niche joke. The joke of someone currently watching that 70s show. Yeah.
I like it. But yeah, we go to Kitty and Leia at the video store. They're looking for a movie to watch with all of Leia's friends.
Yeah.
And Leia wants to make sure she's picking the right movie because she wants to look cool in front of her new friends. And so Kitty's like, okay, well, you probably won't be able to pick a not cool movie. You're the coolest person I know. What's your favorite movie? And then Leia responds with Free Willy.
Top
Kitty laughs.
Tier choice. I don't care if it's dorky. That's awesome.
Yeah, Kitty calls her a dork because her favorite movie is Free Willy.
Yes.
Imagine talking to your grandmother, being like, I'm worried I'm not cool. And she's like, your grandmother, the nicest, most maternal woman in the world. I'm not saying your grandmother specifically, but Kitty.
Yeah.
Imagine your grandma is Kitty. Is like, oh, honey, you could never make a mistake. What's your favorite movie? And you shared, and she was like, huh, fucking loser.
That's what's going through Leia's head right
basically
now.
Basically what happens,
yeah. But Leia decides to go to the video store clerk to see if he has any good recommendations. And who should it be but Jay, who is not facing her. So she does a cute little bit where she goes, stick him up. And Jay immediately thinks that he's being robbed. He basically starts crying and like he says like, don't, shit. He's like, don't.
Yeah, he's like, don't please don't shoot me. All the money's in the back. The password is this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he gives it up immediately. He says like, my boss's car is the one that says movie slut.
Oh my God.
I forget. Yes.
Yeah, he immediately. You wouldn't want him in in one of these situations.
This is definitely his biggest Kelso moment so far. Like, I love the idea that Jay is the evolved Kelso, but his fight or flight kicked in. He just degenerated.
Like, literally, I saw him yelling all this stuff, and I was like, yep, this is Kelso's son.
Yeah.
Yep. So good, but. It's just, I just love, he's so destroyed immediately. And I love that Leia's reaction is also, Jay, it's me. It's not like, what are you doing? But yeah, and there's also a moment I really like where Leia is then talking to him and she says like, yeah, what's that one movie about like the guys with the place, that one cool movie with the guys? And he goes, Clerks? I just love that it's not inaccurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of movies about a guy with the place.
Also love that it's about Clerks. I've never seen Clerks. It's about guys who work at a video store, right? Am I correct?
I believe it's a convenience store.
I think it's a grocery store.
Oh, okay, never mind. We can cut this joke because I just thought it was funny. I haven't
seen it, but
Jay Kelso is a video clerk. Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I think it was like Kevin Smith made it because he was working as a grocery store clerk at the time and like made a movie based on it.
The quick
or
stop.
like a convenience store or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so she's like, yes, I'll watch Clerks, and then Jay's like, oh, great choice with Kevin Smith and all that stuff, and Leia's like, oh yeah, Kevin Smith, he was so hot in that movie, which, I mean, not wrong, I guess. Kevin Smith is a sex symbol.
Of course.
I mean, it's a good joke that Leia doesn't know who Kevin Smith is, so she's like, yeah, what a hottie, am I right? But also, like, maybe Kevin Smith can get it, and you're being...
The Silent Bob stands 8 this episode.
No, I do think it's a very good joke that she doesn't know who Kevin Smith is, so she thinks like
it's
he's a hottie.
He has to be hot, yeah.
Yeah, because he's like the main guy in the movie. But so Jay's like, oh yeah, I'll go check it out for you. Oh, wait a minute. Someone's had this movie rented out for like 6 months or 6 weeks.
I believe it's 6 weeks.
Might have been 6 weeks.
It is 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was like, 6 months feels too long. Probably 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So Leia is on a quest to find the missing Clerks VCR.
Jay gets called away to deal with a Joe versus the volcano situation in the bathroom. And Leia takes a peek at the computer to get the address of the person who's had Clerks for 6 weeks. And then she and Kitty are off. Kitty spots Pastor Dave in the adult video section.
Oh, God.
Pastor Dave, I believe, played by Kevin McDonald.
Who doesn't show up. He's just mentioned.
He's just
goes
mentioned.
Off screen.
Yeah. Played in the original show by Kevin McDonald.
Right, yeah.
I love that she says that's very unholy.
It's very unholy.
It's really good. So Leia and Kitty are off. We go back to the foreman's house where Nate goes up to Red with one of Red's tiny cucumbers.
Cucumbers are so bad.
Yeah. It's so
Red's got a tiny cucumber, and he's like, "Hey, it's average size."
Yeah. And Nate says, "Well, maybe it's a grower and not a shower." He's a stupid boy.
Yeah, it's not about the size of the cucumber; it's about the motion of the dirt.
Oh God. The motion of the dirt.
The motion of the soil.
I guess that would probably affect the size of the cucumber more than anything else. But yeah.
Yeah, have you ever tried growing cucumbers during an earthquake?
Yeah.
Zach, I'm really conflicted right now because I kind of like the joke and I admire like the craft and your quickness with it, but I'm also disappointed in you.
That's exactly the kind of thing I go for with every joke I make, Mark. Every time you tell me this, where you're like, this is a great joke, but also I hate you, I feel that much more powerful inside. I feel like soon I will turn into the greatest comedy genius of all time, but also the worst. Oh my God.
But yeah, Nate asks Red if he can have one of Red's flannels, because his girlfriend thinks he looks really good in them. And Red says, "Oh, I understand. You know, when I had my first girlfriend, and you know what her name was? Get out." Red's a bit of an angry customer, I have to say.
Yeah.
You act as if Red hasn't always been a bit of an angry customer.
I'm realizing now that I thought maybe he had like a bad day in that 70s show. Maybe he was just having a bad week or something. How long is that show? Yeah, he was having, like, he had a bad week, so he was pretty angry for, 100 whatever episodes. But now that it's like 15, 20 years later and he's still like this, I'm sort of like, maybe he's just like a mean person.
Maybe he needs anger management.
Maybe he's just a meanie. But anyway, then do we check back in on Leia and Kitty's adventure?
Well, first we find out that Sherry is showering at the Foreman's because Kitty let her prepare for her date there.
That is important.
And Red is fully losing his house. And then we go back to Kitty and Leia, who go to the home of the person who's rented Clerks for 6 weeks. And guys, it's Leo.
Yay!
Oh my God.
It's Leo, played by character actor Tommy Chong in that 70s show and in that 90s show.
I did not expect to see him so soon, and I was so happy.
Watching it, I was sort of thinking like, okay, either one of two things is going to happen. It's just going to be some like actor being an annoying person, and I will find it very annoying. Or it's going to be a returning character, in which case I have no idea who it would be. And the fact that it's Leo is so good.
Of course he has a copy of Clerks from Blockbuster Video that he forgot to return 6 weeks ago.
Of course he has a copy of Clerks that he forgot to return. Of course he thinks they're trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
Which he
Halloween
does.
has come early this year.
There's a really good line where Kitty is like, Leo, don't you recognize me? And he says, yeah, you're dressed like Kitty.
Like
that's
that
a good
lady.
costume, man.
And then there's like a whole thing with this. It gets resolved by Leia saying, you know what? Yes, it is Halloween. But instead of candy, because I know you don't have candy, what I really want for Halloween is a copy of the movie Clerks. And Leo's like, oh, I have that. Let me get it for you.
Yeah. We should also state that Leo starts talking to them apropos of nothing about how he's been watching The Real World and how he really likes The Real World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence our intro.
Right.
And he goes to get the tape. I really liked Leia's ploy of saying, you know what, it is Halloween and I'd like a copy of Clerks.
Yes.
And I really liked that. But yeah, as he goes away, Leia asks Kitty, so like, how do you know that man? Who is that? She says, oh, he was just an older man who used to hang out with your dad and his friends when they were teenagers. And then she pauses for a second and thinks. And she goes, no, I think they would have said something. If
Kitty has a lot of realizations about her life in this episode.
A lot of like dark and sexually charged realizations.
First it's her parents doing God knows what in their bedroom.
I have an idea. I have an idea of what they were doing.
Well, I'm trying to keep it PG, and this is clearly not PG show.
Go ahead.
Then, the pastor in the adult video section, and now this thing. There's 3 things that Kitty has to rethink in her life.
But but I do like that she is like, no, that they would have said something. That didn't
also, happen. Leo, is he even capable of something like that? I don't
Leo, I don't think so.
That's the funny thing where it's like Leo is introduced as Hyde's boss at the photo hut. And almost immediately Hyde takes charge of the photo hut. Leo is a child. Leo would not hurt or do anything.
Remember, there's an episode where where they hide and Leo reflect on their similar life circumstances, and Leo asks Hyde to be his dad.
Yeah. You be my dad? We also do find out that Leo was a decorated war veteran.
Which explains, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
With several successful small businesses. Which is, I guess, how he owns a house, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go back to the foreman's house where Red confronts Kitty about how he's losing the house and why did she open everything up to chaos again?
Yeah.
And Kitty says that she likes having Leia for the summer and that she likes that the house is alive again. And it's a nice little sweet moment where Kitty's saying like, no, I like this. I like having dumbass teens around.
Yeah.
Kitty enjoys being in a sitcom. Red does not. Exactly. That is the main difference between the two of them.
That is exactly what it is. It's so good. And then, and she says like, and also it's nice to have the old Red back instead of this new Red who just gardens. She likes that he doesn't like being in a sitcom. She likes it when he's angry.
She likes sitcom Red.
She likes the passion, the fire.
She likes sitcom Red better than not sitcom Red.
But so they both get pretty turned on. And then we cut to them in their bed post coitus.
Mm-hmm.
And they have sex, and then Sherry walks out of their bathroom saying, "Is it safe to come out now?"
Oh God, that's awkward.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you're Sherry, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, Sherry was getting ready for her date. Yeah, I mean, like I think Sherry played it pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah.
When I think about it, I'm like, what would you want Sherry to do in that situation?
I feel like that's probably the best way she could have played it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying this as a rebuttal to like, Harrison, you were wrong to have an issue with that. I'm just like now reflecting on like, you know what? I think she played it pretty well.
I don't have an issue with it. I think she handled it the best she could. I just think it's awkward either way.
No, definitely awkward either way.
It's going to be awkward no matter what happened.
But she comes out of the bathroom and she has a bit of a crisis. She's like, am I making a mistake? What am I even doing with my life? I'm just... and that she doesn't really want to go on this date with this guy and she feels like a failure. And Kitty gives her a little pep talk about how she has a steady job and she's raising 2 kids on her own and that she's amazing. And she says, maybe it's time to take a break from men and focus on herself for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sherry agrees with that and says that she's going to break up with this guy that she's been seeing. We go over to the teens hanging out in the basement. Leia has prepared for movie night. She gives all of them their individual boxes of Raisin Bran.
Yes, because they love it so much.
Yep. And none of them remember like what she's talking about.
Yeah.
She's just handing them. I love it. It's such a nice little detail of she's of her being so extra and preparing for this and being like, I got Raisin Bran. Remember Raisin Bran? Raisin Bran. They're like, I don't.
Yeah. I also love Leia's line. Did that actually happen? Yeah. Like now she's questioning her own reality. She gaslights herself.
That was so good. Yeah. Did that actually happen?
Yeah.
So good. Nikki mentions her cousin who did Brett Favre's bathroom again. And Ozzy does not like that. Leia puts in Clerks, commenting once more about how hot she thinks Kevin Smith is.
I love that she needs to do it now just to keep up the illusion. Like, I've seen Clerks and think Kevin Smith is attractive.
And then they press play on the tape.
Yeah.
And guys, wouldn't you know it, it's not the movie Clerks.
What is it? Is
instead,
it Jurassic Park?
No.
Is it The Firm?
Instead, no. Oh. Instead, it's Leo's audition for the real world.
That's even
Oh
better.
my god.
Leo.
It's really good. It's really good. He says that he's fallen off of 3 roller coasters. Well, 4 if you count the 4th one.
That was a very good line. I like that a lot.
I liked that line. So yep, the movie Clerks is ruined. Nate starts choking on Raisin Bran because it's too dry.
Oh no.
So they toss him a Capri Sun, which he is able to clear his throat with. But then Jay starts choking on Raisin Bran.
Mm-hmm.
And Leia runs away because she screwed everything up and everything's ruined.
Everyone's choking on Raisin Bran.
Yeah. Everyone's choking on Raisin Bran. I thought they'd love it, but instead it's killing them.
Oh no.
But Gwen follows her. Leia admits that her favorite movie is actually Free Willy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's just, I don't know. I forget exactly what the line is, but there is a little moment where she's like, my favorite movie is Free Willy. It's about a boy and his whale. And Gwen's like, so? And she says, so he tries to free the whale. I just like that she's stuck talking about Free Willy for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leia feels like an imposter, and there's a nice moment where Gwen tells her to remember that, or she says, just remember, you have a killer basement. Leia was expecting something nicer, and that did remind me of there's an episode of That 70s Show, right, where Eric has started hanging out with other kid from school, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and so he's like he forgot to give Hyde and Kelso a ride, and they're mad at Eric, and Donna's like, what, so you just like Eric for his car in his basement? They're like, no, we've been friends with him for years. And Kelso's like, yeah, remember when he had the treehouse and the hippity hop? So it runs in the family. The Foremans winning over friends with
their stuff.
With their stuff. Yeah.
But Gwen tells her, like, no, what I mean is that things are so boring around here, and you gave us this place where we can, hang out and have fun. And she says, and if you worry that you're not fitting in, well, you found the people who don't fit in. And it's a nice little moment. And then Nate comes up saying that they found another bag in Leo's bag. Another bag of presumably more fresh drugs.
Yay! So I don't have to smoke Eric's pot the entire summer. That's good to know.
Tyler, could you maybe clip out all of us shouting yay for drugs and make that like the drugs sound effect? Like anytime we're like, yay, drugs.
Yay, drugs.
It just goes, yay.
Yay, drugs.
I don't know how often it'll come up, but just it felt like a real like soundbite thing.
It'll happen again with this show.
But so all the kids watch Free Willy, and
they get really
emotional. Ozzy is being judgmental and saying it's just E.T., but even at the end when Willy escapes, he's into it.
I never thought of Free Willy that way, that it's just E.T., but with a whale. Yeah.
Really makes you think.
Makes you think.
The history of cinema.
Yeah. But Free Willy saved the day. The day is saved. Leia has friends, and it's all due to that plucky kid and his friend the whale.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway. It's not that like, hey, you don't have to impress us to be friends. It's that no. Free Willy was the right choice. If you had not chosen Free Willy, we would not be friends.
But I think that takes us to our last scene.
Red is in the kitchen, and Nate comes in saying that he found a flannel in his van and he wanted to thank him. Red immediately is like, yeah, whatever. I'm not admitting that it's me. I'm a grumpy old man who's not endeared to these kids yet. He says something about like, but just don't make it a whole thing. And Nate's like, I won't make it a thing. And then he goes, can I call you Uncle Red? Which I really liked. And Red says no. And then as Nate leaves, he's like, bye, Uncle Red.
He has Red figured out so easily. It's fantastic.
It's so good. But and Sherry is over talking to Kitty before her date. Sherry wore a very low cut black dress, and Kitty's like, this is what you're wearing to like break up with him? And she says, this is my funeral outfit.
Oh god. God.
But Kitty encourages her and chants, "Dump the chump!" And guys, we meet the chump. And the chump.
Who's the chump?
The chump. The chump is Fez.
Ooh.
Oh my god, it's Fez. He's back.
Yep, there's a very, very...
Oh my god, Fez is back.
There's a very long applause break when they cut to Fez
Right, yeah.
posed sexily on his car.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yep.
Also, how
It's
dare
very
you
good.
even consider dumping Fez? It's so good.
Fez. He's the best. He's Fez.
It's Fez.
I'm so glad to see him again. Oh,
It's good to see
Anyway.
Fez.
yeah.
That's true.
And they kind of just cut it off right there, but yeah.
Yeah, it
that-
feels like there should be... It's the sort of thing of like, yes, Fez showing up and it's a cliffhanger is definitely a button, and it's like, what do you do after that? But it's also like, I feel like one more button with like the teens or with Red and Kitty would have made it feel a little more complete. But guys, Fez is here.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Fez is here.
Wonder if he ever thinks about the fact that he happens to be dating the woman who lives right next door to his old hangout spot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of my thing of like, he pulled up to the foreman's house to pick up his date, and he's not gonna like say hi to Red and Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I didn't even think of it that way. Like, he just
To be
completely
fair, I feel
ignores the
like
fact.
to be fair, I don't know if he's like kept in contact with Red and Kitty.
Yeah.
Like the person who lives next door is not the same person who lived next door in the 70s. They could theoretically be a different
That's true.
person living
That's
there.
true, but he picks them up at Red and Kitty's. He picks her up at Red and Kitty's house.
Yeah.
And sure, maybe they didn't keep in touch, but they sure went through 8 years of a sitcom together.
Yeah.
That is true.
But yeah, so that's the ending.
But yeah, does that bring us to Sad Boy of the
Sad
Week?
Boy
I
of the
believe
week.
that does.
All right.
I think I've got a couple ideas in mind for possible
I
nominations.
have a few ideas in mind. Leia is, very
Leia,
obvious.
for
She
sure.
wants to impress her friends. She's pretty sad. She's wearing her Dare shirt. She gets high for the first time and munches on a giant cookie while she sees her grandparents as big apes.
Yes.
Her favorite movie is Free Willy, but she has to lie about liking Clerks and thinking Kevin Smith is hot. When she has to then she has to track down the one Clerks tape in town and bargain for it from a man who is clearly not present.
A man who is
yeah.
her dad's old friend from the 70s.
Yeah. Her dad's adult friend from the 70s. And she ends up screwing up the night. She didn't get, it's not Clerks after all, so everything's ruined. Also, just again, the whole thing with the Raisin Bran, that she got them Raisin Bran, but they don't remember. And she goes, did that actually happen? Did I make that up? So good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
she's very good.
Really good.
I was also thinking about Kitty this episode, just because of like the realization that her parents
that's
had like
true.
a whip and fuzzy handcuffs in their bedroom, and also she sees the pastor in the adult video section and witnesses what is assumingly an unholy
Gosh.
sight, and then has to deal with the horrors of realizing, oh yeah, this adult man hung out with my kid and his friends when they were teenagers.
Oh,
Did something
God.
like happen there? No, probably not.
That is true. That's a good point. I was not thinking about Kitty. I was thinking about Red,
Yeah.
who
I was going to
also
nominate
thought
Red.
maybe.
who
Yeah.
can't garden for shit, now has to lose his house to idiot sitcom teenagers.
I was also going to possibly nominate Jay. He loses his rubber band. He
Yes, very
his
sad.
friend
Thinks he's
approaches him from behind
Yeah.
and he thinks he's being robbed. For real.
Yeah, I think it's that one scene and that one scene alone, really.
But he loses his rubber band. That's also sad.
That's true. That's true.
One
It's
should
very
never
sad.
lose your
Top
rubber
10
band.
anime
That
deaths.
is very true.
Top 10 saddest anime
Yeah.
deaths.
I mean, do we want to throw Sherry a nom for having to break up with Fez and also having to listen to Red and Kitty have sex while she's trapped in their bathroom?
And also needing to be trapped in their bathroom.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Man, that's a lot.
This is a tough
Yeah,
one.
it's
It kind of
sad
is.
There's a
episode.
lot of good
Yeah.
nominees today.
So here's where I'm at.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of between Leia and Red. I think Leia is more sad than Red in this episode. Or maybe not. Or here's my thing. The way in which Red is sad, I think will continue for the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But this
that's fair.
this is the episode where he really realizes he is losing his house because he has to be in a sitcom again.
Oh my God.
And you know what? That may be, just in terms of how much I enjoy that might put it over the edge. I might be voting Red.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna vote Red.
What are you thinking, Harrison?
I'm torn because
I am as well, honestly.
because Leia is so sad, like this dorky teen being
Yeah.
like just so badly wanting approval from these people who just
I think Leia's a very
simply
good win.
do not. Yeah, they simply do not care if they have to watch Free Willy instead of Clerks, but she is placing so much importance on this.
Yeah.
I think I gotta vote Leia. I think I'm feeling her.
Okay, so it's down to me. Oh god, I think I'm also gonna go Leia on this one just because of all the things there. She's like constantly like worried about like, oh my god, I need all these people to like me. I need to be cool. I need to get them their Raisin Bran. And she scares the shit out of Jay when he's working.
so
and she's
good.
like, what did I do? What have I done?
Also, there's the fact that she has a panic attack over Raisin Bran. Like,
Right, yeah.
I was very torn. I think really Leia absolutely deserves it. I think I want to give Red a nod just because I do enjoy so much how in this episode he's like, oh no, it's happening again.
it's perfect.
But
Red is very good as well.
But I think Leia takes it. Leia's
Also-
so good in this episode.
Also,
Yeah.
let's point out that
Leia's
Red's
great.
anger and frustration does lead to him having sex, and that's a win. That's a W.
That's true. That's
it's a bit
true.
of a glad
That's
boy
true.
moment.
And as we all know, sad boys don't get W's. It's all L's.
Yep.
And with that,
With that,
that's it for another episode of Rewatch Party. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe, all that fun podcast stuff. If you like what you just listened to, make sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Rewatch Party Pod. Once again, I'm Zach Horowitz.
I'm Mark Green.
and I'm Harrison Bloom.
And until next time, keep rewatching. And did I ever tell you guys about my cousin who did Brett Favre's bathroom? I mean, he did like a bunch of stuff when he was like in Green Bay, and then he moved over to
not
New York and then
again.
Minnesota. And then there was like the whole thing with like the embezzlement scandal.